Okay, maybe I got a little bit too woke on my last video.
Liberal, 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 happy fun, la la la, human smuggling, fentanyl gas.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to talking about films. Whenever someone asks me what my favorite social media is, I always pretend to think really hard before I immediately snap back with Letterboxd. It's my favorite app ever made, and I don't think I could live without it. If it wasn't already obvious, talking about films is one of my favorite things to do, and an app that lets me track what both me and my friends are watching as well as seeing what our thoughts were is just incredible to me. Whether I'm looking at a film I already know I like and seeing what my friends thought of it, or looking ahead at new releases and seeing which one of my mates has seen it, Letterboxd allows me to share my love of film in a way that no other app does, and for that I will always be eternally grateful. I will continue to give Letterboxd free promo till the day I die, because if I can get every single one of my friends signed up, then I can die very happy. And Letterboxd, if you want to follow me back on Twitter or whatever because of all this free promo, I wouldn't say no. Or even better, if you want to ask me my 4 favorites, please do, because I am so ready to share them. I'm living for the day that someone asks me my 4 favorites, because not only do I know my 4 favorites, I know why they're my 4 favorites. And I'm prepared to talk at length about how much I love the 4 movies I've got pinned on my profile. But no good thing is without its flaws, and although my flaws with Letterboxd aren't really anything to do with the app, I'm not coming on here to complain about the ads because I know someone's got to make their money somewhere, but the things I don't like about Letterboxd are often coming from the community themselves. Now, it's not the whole community, because for one, I'm a member of that, and I know for a fact there is a lot more good than there is bad, but there are still those members of the Letterboxd community that just sort of rub me the wrong way with the way they use the app. I'm not trying to come on here and police the app, because at the end of the day I know it's not that serious, it is just a silly social media, but hey, I like complaining about stuff and I found something new to complain about. So you're all just going to have to sit back and let me do my thing. But this intro's been long enough anyway. Here are the 2 things on Letterboxd that drive me insane. Now, the first thing I want to complain about is the people that try and do those funny one-sentence reviews of films. I'm not talking about all these short, funny reviews, because God knows I've done a fair few in my time and failed incredibly at trying to be funny. And there are genuinely quite a few films that are only worth one sentence, funny or not. I mean, who's going to get on Letterboxd and give Happy Gilmore 2 a thorough start-to-finish review? But sometimes people pick the weirdest films to do this to. Films with quite serious subject matter can have someone trying to do one funny quip about the movie to try and get a few likes. I think a lot of films deserve more of a discussion than just one funny sentence, and typing out your latest Marvel quip just isn't that funny to me. Because ultimately, at its base, it is an app for talking about films, and how many likes on Letterboxd can one silly one-liner really be worth? Don't you actually want to share your thoughts and feelings with people, or are you just looking to get as many likes as possible? I don't think there's a better film to look at the reviews of to sell my point more than the reviews of Licorice Pizza, the Paul Thomas Anderson film. Half the reviews under this film aren't about the movie itself, but they're either about the idea of putting licorice on a pizza or the fact there's a lot of running in the film. In fact, I'd say about a third of the top reviews are about the running. This is an app where you can say whatever you want about whatever movie you watch, and these people have all latched onto the same joke and are all saying it on top of each other, just trying to get those likes, I guess. And the reason this specific case annoys me is because not only is everybody trying to do the one funny line review, but they're all telling the exact same jokes. There's no originality in this review section, and I refuse to believe that, oh, maybe everybody came to this conclusion themselves, because they're all practically written the same way, and the further you go, you can see the likes decreasing and decreasing and decreasing for these people saying the same stuff over and over again about running. Like, we get it, there is a lot of running in Licorice Pizza. Don't you have anything else to contribute? I've seen you've given the film 4.5 stars. Do you want to tell me why it's 4.5 stars, or are you just going to keep making the same joke as the guy in front of you? Like I've said, we've all tried to be funny on Letterboxd before, me included, but I don't think I've ever sat there and seen somebody else say something funny and just thought, hey, I'll say that and see if I get as many likes. Because what is the point in doing that? Maybe your friends that aren't on Letterboxd as much as you will see it and get a chuckle, but won't you know in your heart of hearts that you're just saying the same joke as that other guy? Where's the originality? Where's the ideas? If you're gonna be funny, be funny. Don't just rehash the same stuff. And if you're not capable of coming up with a funny liner without repeating what somebody else has said, just don't do one. You don't actually have to write anything on Letterboxd. If you just want to give it 4.5 stars and leave it, That's fine. I can see that you've given it 4.5 stars. But without trying to sound too pretentious, which is something I fail at all the time, I am going to think a little bit less of you if you're just going to rehash jokes. I'm sorry, but that's just how it is. And before you say, oh, they're not trying to impress you, they're clearly trying to impress somebody else with a rehash joke, and you can consider me pretty thoroughly unimpressed. Now, there's plenty of other films on Letterboxd where this happens in the replies, but I don't want this to be a whole video of me searching through this website and trying to find other terrible jokes, so you're going to kind of have to take my word for it, but I'm sure a lot of you will agree anyway. There is way too much of this on Letterboxd, and people just need to find a new bit to stick to. Now, the other thing I want to talk about that annoys me has to do with the rating system on Letterboxd. If you've used the app, you're probably familiar with the 5-star rating feature. You give a film between 1 to 5 stars with a half-star interval if you can't decide between like a 4 and a 5. And in my opinion, the star rating system is great because it makes me think of those old like film posters that would have like 4 and 5-star ratings plastered across them with the newspapers or journalists that gave them to them underneath. It's a very fun system in my opinion, and it's also a pretty easy way to rate films. I think it's a lot easier than just giving it a plain number because with the stars you can kind of visualize how you feel about it. You can see in front of you exactly how many stars you're giving this film, and sometimes seeing the grayed out star or half a star can really help reinforce that that is how you feel about this movie. You don't quite think it deserves the full star, so you're gonna stop there. But apparently for some people that system is not enough and they have to be that bit more specific at the bottom of their reviews. Now there's plenty of different sites like IMDb and Metacritic that rate things with a number between 1 and 100 because they've compiled a ton of different reviews for the film and averaged out their scores to give them this number. I have no problem with this because it's a great way to generalize the feelings about a film based on what a lot of the critics are saying, and I do think that 1 to 100 rating system definitely has its place in this field. But when I go on Letterboxd and I see somebody I know has given a film 4.5 stars and then at the bottom of their review gone, yep, this film is a 93 out of 100, it sort of drives me up the wall a bit because why do you need to get that specific, and more importantly, how did you get that specific? This review is a culmination of your feelings, and I bet you couldn't sit some of these people down and ask them to say why a film is an 87 and not an 86 or maybe an 88. Where is that precision coming from and how are you justifying it? And don't even get me started on people that do 7.2 or 6.4. Once you bring in a decimal place, you have completely lost me because you've gone far too mathematical on rating a film, especially when you've got the star system right there. That star system is there so you can compare it with other people. If I give a film 4 stars and you give a film 4 stars, I want to have the knowledge that we both gave it 4 stars and we can somewhat agree on how good this film is. I don't want to open your review and see that your 4 stars actually means it gets 82 out of 100, because what do you mean 82? If you consider 4 stars being like an 8 out of 10, how are you getting that extra 2? Where is it coming from? And again, how are you going to justify to me how it's not an 83 or an 81? Why can't you just give it 4 stars and be happy with it? You can't go on YouTube and give a video half a like. You can't go on Twitter and give half a retweet. I get that you've seen these higher numbers used on these other websites, but don't you get that that's a generalization? It's a score that's been averaged across 100 different reviews, and you as an individual don't need to get that specific. You've already given it the star rating, so you can write your feelings below, but I don't think you need to give it a second score that gets that precise. And I know this is going to be a real case of the pot calling the kettle black, but it comes across as so pretentious. I'm pretty pretentious about films as it is, but I would never dream of going on Letterboxd and giving a review score out of 100. I know why the stars are there. You know why the stars are there, so why are you trying to reinvent the wheel? Especially because Letterboxd, like these other review scores, will take the average reviews of a film and generalize it into a decimal number. The app is already being specific for you. How technical do you need to get? And on top of that, Letterboxd sorts the reviews by the star rating anyway, so if I click on the 5-star reviews of Pulp Fiction, I don't want to see that you gave it 5 stars but you actually only wanted to give it 97, because then you haven't given it 5 stars, you've given it 97, and you've undone all your own hard work anyway by rounding up your numbered score into the nearest whole or half a star you can give it. A lot of these reviews that do that are quite long anyway, so I'm not even sure the number is a necessary Legendary Edition. You've got your thoughts and feelings spelled out there for me. You've said you like the director, or you like the actor, or you don't like the soundtrack. I don't think I need a number to summarize that. These people that do this just need to let their words speak for themselves. I want to know how you feel about the film, but I don't think trying to quantify it with a number is going to help anyone. I wonder if you stopped any of these people on the street and said, "Oh, what did you give Heat on Letterboxd?" They would turn around and go, "Oh, I'm glad you asked. I gave it 89. 9 times out of 10, I'm sure these people would just say 4.5 stars. And if they did turn around and say, "Oh, I gave it a number," the people interviewing them would probably think, "Oh, I thought Letterboxd was a star-based system." So to summarize, my point is, ditch off the number, let your words speak for themselves, and stick to the star rating system. Maybe you gave it 5 stars, but the film still had flaws in your eyes. Just tell us what those flaws were, and don't try and explain to me why a film deserves 3 less points to the 100. But yeah, those are my thoughts about 2 things on Letterboxd that just seem to really annoy me, and I know it's not that deep and it's not that serious and it is just an app, but like I said before, I do like to complain and I've just found something else to complain about. If you enjoy listening to me complain about stuff, maybe you should subscribe and maybe you should leave a comment disagreeing or agreeing with me. I like talking to people in my comments section, and if you're someone who gives films a 100 out of 100 rating, or someone that just thinks Letterboxd is there to be funny, why don't you tell me about it and we can talk about it? Maybe I'll change my mind, maybe I'll change yours, or maybe we'll just start insulting each other. We won't really know until we find out. But that's all I've got to say for today, and I also want to add that I have got another video essay in the works at the moment. Hopefully that will be done soon. I'm still in the script writing phase, finalizing that, but it's a film I really, really love, and I'm quite excited to talk about it, so stick around and hopefully that should be uploaded soon. But yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another one of my videos soon.